I'll call the meeting to order. Roll call.
Mayor Westergaard,
Yes.
Moeller,
Yes.
Stankham,
Yes.
Reese,
Here.
Waltman.
Yes.
Public forum. I'm assuming everybody's here for
Oh,
the.
pardon me.
Oh,
Thank you,
Victor.
Tom.
Out of sight, out of mind. On public forum, consent agenda, any additions, corrections? Need a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Roll call.
Waltman,
Yep.
Moeller,
Yes.
Stankham,
Yes.
Reese,
Yes.
Thomas.
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna open the public hearing on the plan specifications, form of contract, and estimate cost for the electric distribution line. Have we received any public comment?
We've received no comments on this.
Public meeting is closed. Resolution 1814. We need a motion to approve the resolution approving the confirmation of the specs.
So moved.
Second,
I'll second.
roll call.
Moeller,
Yes.
Stankham,
Yes.
Waltman,
Yes.
Reese,
Yes.
Thomas.
Yes.
Resolutions 1815 is awarding the contract to Legacy. Bill's approved it, he's happy with them.
Yeah, let's take a look at those bids here real quick, though, Chief. Take a look at that, the bids on page 6. It's showing that it, just an excellent bid letting this time. We had 10 bidders, and total base bid for a Legacy power line is $633,835.31, and engineer's estimate on this is about $750,000. So feel real good about that. And also Legacy is the same firm who is doing our underground work this year too. So we'll have a familiar contractor in town, and they've done rural work for us also. So feeling good about it.
We have a motion on 1815.
I'll make that motion. I'll second it.
Roll call.
Waltman,
Yes.
Reese,
Yes.
Moeller,
Yes.
Stankham,
Yes.
Thomas.
Yes.
Okay, 1816 is approving a resolution granting zoning variance to the library. Is there any comments from the library board? You're welcome to speak.
Well, we already presented this to the Board of Adjustment because we came through that with flying colors, 4-0 on that. We just want to add an extension to the library, 40 feet going to the east towards the alley. And the library also purchased the former residence that was across the alley, and is now a vacant lot for parking. And there was a little concern from the Board of Adjustment about maybe trying to rezone that as the city business district area. So we'd like to have that move forward if possible. But it's just a development phase for the library, and we're in the next process of getting contacting the architect, so we're still moving forward with the project.
Thanks, Eric. Does the council have any questions? I would entertain a motion for resolution 1816.
Motion to approve.
Second,
I'll second.
roll call.
Moeller,
Yes.
Stankham,
Yes.
Waltman,
Yes.
Reese,
Yes.
Thomas.
Yes. So will there be any action on sending it to the zoning, rezoning it?
That's just for the parking lot, right?
Yeah, so this would be that one lot that we purchased, with the, again, the recommendation from the Board of Adjustment, they'd like to explore rezoning that property. If its main use is parking lot, it just takes away any question about use. You know, that would be a consistent use with the Central Business District.
There was no reason we couldn't rezone it, so we dotted all the i's.
Just so that you can start the process to do
Yeah,
that, I guess.
right.
There really is a process, and actually the library board would be the applicant to rezone that property. And we give public notice to the neighbors, and then it goes to the Planning and Zoning Commission for their recommendation about rezoning, and then it would come to the city council after that. So would you like to begin that process? Is that what I'm
Yes.
hearing?
I believe we'd like that.
You need a motion?
That'd be great. Well, but who's the property owner there to request the rezoning?
I believe it's the city. I haven't quite figured that out yet, as far as the library board owning that real estate.
Which they don't, the city owns it, but.
Say it's deeded to the city.
So it would be the city. So I'll make a motion to start the process of rezoning that.
And I'll second that.
Very good. Roll call.
Okay, Waltman,
Yes.
Muller,
Yes.
Stanky.
Yes.
Reese,
Yes.
Thomas.
Yes,
Vicky, we're gonna make that happen.
good, thanks.
Thanks to the library for coming tonight. Thanks for all the effort and things for the community. It's a good place to go. Okay. We, talk about the matching funds for the fish house.
Just so the city had given their assurance that the needed matching funds of $26,500 would be provided for this fish house project to match that state REAP grant. So you've seen the numbers about what had been received so far from fundraising, and you actually add $400 to that, so the new total received so far today is $14,695. And there's a $2,000 pledge from Sac County Sportsman, and then also $5,000 was received from Sac County.
Is that included in the 14?
It is not, that's additional. So the total was that
$295.
21, well, it'll be 21,695 now. I need, when the end of the month rolls around, I need to be able to pay the DNR the amount yet still to cover. So what I'd ask is that the amount that I'd request now, it had been $7,205, I'd look at $6,805, and that's the amount that's remaining. It's actually $4,805, but we have that pledge from the Sportsman's Club, and whether that's dollars are received or not, we still need to cover that. So I'd ask for the council to authorize payment of up to $6,805.
So the DNR, so we're concrete that the DNR is gonna fund more than 200 or whatever.
There,
The project.
yes, yep, so it's,
Know the cost of that project
I
yet.
don't, because that's the
Out for
one
bid.
kind of unvariable right now, is it's out for bid.
All right.
But we
I'll make a motion that we authorize funding for $6,805, and, it's contingent on the whole process moving forward, but I'm sure it will, or we won't make the payment, so.
And I'll second it.
We have a second. Roll call.
Okay, Tom's,
Yes,
Reese,
Yes.
Boltman,
Yes.
Stanky,
Yes.
Muller.
Yes.
I do have another thing on that though, Mayor, just to, so the city made that commitment of $26,500, and I guess, just would like to know what happens if those bids come in higher than what was anticipated. And would the city honor more of that contribution, or?
It'll be up to 110%, is that what the deal is?
Well, our community, as a whole, the community needed to match that 10%, and that's that 26.5. And really, it's just, I guess, keep this in the back of your mind about what happens if the cost of the project is more than anticipated.
Can we cross that bridge when time comes?
Sure, absolutely.
Has the Blackhawk Protection Association put forth any money on it?
No, their next meeting, they're considering it at the next meeting.
Okay.
And I know they had some discussion, quite a bit of discussion at their last meeting.
Well, that's another source, so in case that it does go a little higher, then they could throw something in there too then.
But Chris assured us he was gonna put a dollar amount in the motion at the next meeting.
Okay.
well, and the fundraising is ongoing.
Yes.
Yes, you bet. Fundraising is terrific. I mean, Fred Huffman's been doing a great job. I don't know what Court's doing to bring in all the money, but
I'm
man,
not doing anything, Fred's doing it all.
You're going to the post office collecting?
I'm going to the post office collecting, depositing for him. And I make sure to update him every day he's coming in.
Very good.
There's a very nice article in the Sioux City Journal on, it started out with the Eagles, but it talked about the fishing, and then it mentioned the fish house. that we're gonna build and collecting funds for, so. Maybe that'll boost some more too.
It's exciting.
Sounds good. Before we move on, can everybody hear us? Hopefully you can. Lee, you're clear in the back, you can hear us. Thank you. Okay, resolution 1817, this is about our electric grid.
That's that interconnection agreement, that's the one that I had at your seat when you came in tonight, Vicki. I had emailed that to you.
Right.
Okay. Just that, again, I've given you a copy of the agreement in the packet. And this makes some changes to that. Again, these are our suggested changes from me. Just so that the main intent of this though is that we would not do net metering. And it certainly guarantees that if there's excess power generated and goes back on the grid, we are paying that avoided cost. And that's that 2.55 cents. Again, these are our recommended changes from me, and I feel very comfortable with them, and it gets us to be at the point where we wanted to be. Bill was, I think, okay with everything too.
So we need a motion on 1817 with those
Yeah,
corrections?
and what we're doing is actually approving this resolution, which approves the agreement, which would be the one that was at the table tonight.
Do we have that motion?
Yeah, I'll make it.
Second?
I'll second it.
Roll call.
Reese. Moller.
Yes.
Stanky.
Yes.
Boltman.
Yes.
Towns.
Yes.
Okay, we're working on our easements for the lagoon.
Yes, and
Everybody's happy?
yes, we have received the signed easement from Duty Culture, and everything is in order. If we could go ahead and accept that easement.
I'll make a motion to accept that easement.
Second?
I'll second it.
Roll call.
Boltman.
Yes.
Stanky.
Yes.
Moller.
Yes.
Reese.
Yes.
Towns.
Yes.
You saw the dollar amount on that, $85.50 on the process payment for that then amount.
We're moving forward slowly, and Larry, we're just gonna knock the trees down.
Yes, yeah, so we do have Wirtz on board to do that. And that it may be as early as next week. We need to be out there. We need to have the trees knocked down before April 15th so we don't interfere with the long-eared bat. But they will be knocked down before April 15th, so we're keeping clear on all that stuff too. So.
Okay, ordinance 491, this will be our second reading. Is there a motion?
Make the motion.
Second?
Second.
Roll call.
Okay, Moller,
Yes.
Boltman,
Yes.
Reese,
Yes.
Stankin,
Yes.
Tom.
Yes.
Okay, ordinance 492, this is also our second reading. This is our high-density
Yes.
ordinance.
Yep.
The motion on 492.
Yes. I'll make it.
Second?
I'll second it.
Roll call.
Okay, Reese,
Yes.
Stankin,
Yes.
Moller,
Yes.
Boltman,
Yes.
Tom.
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna hire our summer help.
Yeah, let's take a look at that real quick. See that the applicants are all included in there, but the proposed hires then are on page, largely on page 32. Just as we were going through the hiring process, had some really good candidates, had lots of really good candidates. And as we're talking more with Bill and Ruth about this, they would really like to explore the idea of having one additional summer employee for each one of their departments. So would propose that there would be 3 utilities floaters where we had originally planned for 2, and then 2 summertime parks workers where we had planned for 1. Just interested in your comments on that.
Bill, what were you gonna use the extra one for? Was that for the storm sewers or laying out sewers, is that right?
Yeah, we'll keep 2 guys on sanitary sewer and storm sewers, and they'll be
minimum 2 months on that job. And the other, I'm gonna keep one guy with Cameron or Jeff to put elbow on at that underground job.
Empty out the Quonsets.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll have no problem keeping them all busy.
Ruth needs, we're gonna do more, we have the Dixie Land Trade Court, all that weeding has to be done now.
The waterways, the garage needs cited, there has to be some extensive work done on the golf course, and it's all starting to run behind.
Plus we'll have a splash pad.
Splash pad cleanup.
We don't know what that's gonna be.
There's a lot of things, and Eric wants to cut back a little bit.
We'd like to
Get
get
that.
Mike
I
to show
did
up.
cut back a little bit,
Yeah, we'd like to have Mike show up more.
we won't go there.
I will.
I know you will, John.
You know, I think they'll keep him busy. It's a small price to pay for a little extra help.
So I'll make a motion, we approve resolution 1818.
Second,
I'll second it.
roll call.
And can I ask a clarification here of y'all before we get into a vote? And the question is on two people specifically. Gloria Husengate, and the rate of pay is at $9 an hour. Okay, now that is one of those positions that was paid $8 last year, and we raised the minimum to, for that position up to $9. Okay? The question is she still entitled to the 25-cent additional hour increase for returning? This would be her second year. You know, she is still getting a pay increase. In this case, she's getting 75 cents more than what she would have if it was just the regular pay increase. But I guess the question there is, should that be $9 or $9.25? And then actually the same thing then on the utilities floater for Kevin Everly. Kevin actually switched positions, and because he was with the parks last year, and he made $9 last year. Now he's up to $11. But the question is, would that be $11.25? I would propose.
I would propose 1125 and 925.
I'll second it.
We're not overpaying anybody.
No.
It's just fair to them.
Yes.
I mean, if I was in those shoes myself, you know.
Yeah. Okay, roll call.
So that's part of my motion, the original motion.
Okay. Did everybody still second? Whitey?
Buddy,
Yeah.
I second it.
Terry.
Terry did.
Terry second. Okay. Boltman,
Yes.
Reese,
Yes.
Muller,
Yes.
Stankin,
Yes.
Tom.
Yes,
We
Thank you very
expect to
much.
see a lot out of the campground this summer, Ruth.
You what?
We want to see a lot of work out of the summer help.
The two we hired this year, the young ones, are eager to work. I think they're very nice.
Ruthie wants, we get.
They're very nice. What did you say?
That wasn't approved by the council.
Okay, citywide cleanup, we're gonna have a little discussion on that.
If you'd look at page 34 in the handout, this is the application and cleanup day rules that we have used for, I'm gonna tell you, probably the past 5 years. So the notion is that anyone who wants to participate needs to come fill out this application, acknowledge that they're getting the rules that way, and then there is a $10 fee per household. If we were to keep this timing consistent with what we've done in the past, it would be May 7th and 8th. Talked with Rudd about that, and those dates are available, and he would plan on that. I guess the question is, does council want to do cleanup day, and what type of format would you like to have?
I'm in favor of doing a cleanup day with a fee, just as we've done in the past.
I'd like to see it go without a fee so we get more junk. That's the idea of doing this. The city's the one that wants the junk picked up, what do we need the $10 for?
I've been giving this a lot of thought, and I guess I was thinking about the no fee thing, and I think it's been working well the way it is, with the fee. You know, I don't know how much more junk we would get if we didn't do the fee. I guess was the question in my mind.
Well, they always said we've got a lot more before we start charging for it. And that's what it's all about, you know, it's, my daughter lives in Fort Dodge and they don't charge anything. My other daughter lives in Oskaloosa and they pick up twice a year and don't charge anything. And I think that what we're after is to clean up the junk. I don't know if we're so worried about the $10.
How much, does this $10 fee make it so that everybody knows what the cleanup rules are?
That's I think one of the bigger things is that they gotta come fill out the application and acknowledge the rules. Because, and there are some rules that are very helpful, like no construction debris. You know, we don't allow that construction debris because we've had a couple dump truck loads at places, individual places before. And it's just worked out pretty well, you know, because it gets them into the office. And we get a chance to talk to them about what they need to do to participate. And then also, they always have to come in to buy those appliance stickers anyway. So.
And, you know, I'm thinking about Bill's workload too for the summer and that spring.
We see houses too, Dave, that there's no way all that junk came out of that one house.
Right.
You know, I mean, the whole lawn's covered with junk.
Well, you know, and I guess that's,
When you used to not have stickers, you know.
yeah.
I think you had better control, you know,
With the fee.
yeah.
Don't we send the police around the night before and they check, make sure that,
Yeah, so when somebody comes in and they fill out the form, and we email it out to people too, so they could, and send it through the mail, they can do that. But they all go on a list, and then the day before we'll send the list out with the police department. And they'll go check to make sure that drive past every pile and check to make sure they're on the list and go collect payment if need be.
How many years have we been charging the fee?
I'm gonna say 5 years. You know, I didn't check that out, but it's been several.
Is that for residential or to the businesses also?
Businesses also.
Businesses have participated.
So do you think you have had in that 5 years more of an increase in people doing this, or?
It's always remained
Pretty
somewhat consistent, and it's around 120, 130 people.
And there's neighbors that will
yeah, pile on.
pile on
Yes.
together, you know, and split that fee, you know, it's.
We paid to get rid of those appliances too, don't we, Scott?
Yeah, it cost us to get rid of those.
And a lot of times, you know, like washers and dryers, anything metal and stuff, that junk people come and pick
Yeah.
up anyway.
We got a good guy in town that picks up all that stuff.
Yeah.
I see good for him.
Yeah,
As long as he takes it out of town.
He does. Just write free on it, Jack.
Okay, would somebody like to entertain a motion to do the cleanup day?
Vicky already did.
Did you, Vicky? Second,
I'll second it.
roll call.
So the motion, Vicki, is cleanup day like we've done in the past?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, Toms,
Yes.
Kohler,
Yes.
Steinkamp,
Yes.
Bolton,
Yes.
3.
No.
Say, city administrator report.
Yeah, let's take a look at page 35 in the council packet. It's just informational for the council, but just know that our engineering has been doing some work on the Camp Crescent project. First thing that I want to point out to you is the green lines in the upper left. So we got together with Murr, and this was the mayor and Ruth, and Bill and I got together with a couple of the representatives from MERC. They had been here and shot grade on everything and came up with this proposal. But the green lines in the left part are the existing sewer lines there. And Bill had a lot of problems with sewer lines toward the end of last year. If you can read any of the writing there that's so small, a lot of those are existing 4-inch PVC, including that one that goes out to meet up with the main in 3rd Street that's 4-inch, just a little 4-inch sewer line. Traditionally, sewer mains are 8 inches. So we'd explore the idea of upsizing that sewer line, at least the one out to the main, probably the others, so that we could get those upsized something bigger than that 4-inch. The other thing that allows us to do then is make sure that we're gaining plenty of depth to allow us to serve all of these new sites over there with sewer. And because as is, they were able to get the sewer services down to the south end of the new sites, but we might even be able to go a little bit further south if we can deepen that up a little bit. So just all of the rectangles on the right-hand part of the picture, those are concrete pads. And this would propose then that we would have those concrete pads and then also redo utilities through that area. This reduces the number of sites in the area by like a dozen. I think there's 12 less than what's there now when they're really jammed in there kind of tight. So these again are nice wide spaces with concrete pads. So each one of the spaces is a little over 40 feet in width for each one of those spaces. So anyway, that's the concept there. One of the best things that I heard when we met with MERC was that it does not propose to do any additional hauling in of dirt, which was surprising. I thought we would end up regrading that whole area. But he said, nope, everything drains and can drain to the east just as is. So there's no additional hauling in of dirt. But a couple things. As you look at the tightly condensed blue lines over there on the right side, and then the red lines that start at the bottom right-hand corner and come up. The red lines are proposed to be a rough area of a bioretention swale. But so we have a bioretention cell with a drain tile in the bottom of that ideally would get down there and drain to the lake, and they think that they can make that work. So that drain tile still drains to the lake, which of course that whole area is really flat through there and has drainage issues, but they're hoping that they can make it work. So everything on the right side there would be proposed to be this bioretention cell. So again, the traditional rain garden plantings and everything like that, so that we're handling all that water through there in a really an environmentally friendly way, gets the water in the ground right away. Note that does extend the bioretention or the rain garden, likely extends several feet or more to the east of where it is right now. And that's further east than what the fence is. Now, the land on the outside of the fence is all public land. And that's, the city would be able to utilize that. I would fully expect you're gonna hear from the neighbors about that, about, encroaching closer to their homes. The other thing that we would look at on the east gravel road is called, noted there as Gravel Drive, that drive may be actually moved several feet further to the east also. It can widen out those lots a little bit, and still we'd have ample room for the bioretention cell then to the east of that. That makes sense, kind of clear as mud?
So how many feet on the other side of the fence is public then?
To where the extension of the sidewalk would be. Now, and there's some section of sidewalk are still there, so you can always visualize where it's at.
Who mows that area?
The homeowners do, right? Homeowners, Vicki.
Okay.
Any comments on that? Are we going down the right path?
Yeah.
Certainly is.
I think so, because we've had the issue with,
If we don't move the fence, we're gonna be in a world of hurt to even do that section, because there won't be enough depth for the campers.
They can't make the turn, back up.
campers
And the
are
lots
getting
wouldn't be
bigger
long
all the
enough.
time.
Huh?
I mean, we have to keep changing with the changing the campers.
I would
that are
say,
there all the
Scott,
time.
what is there, 75 feet from the fence up to the sidewalk?
You know, there's a significant area. I don't know how far it is.
So in the swell then, what do you, like, could you plant, the mosquito bushes and that kind of stuff that
It's all of those native plantings.
would help that issue, you know, some, maybe?
We're gonna do
About-
watermelons.
Get more problems that way, huh?
It's pretty likely that the type of plantings will be the same type of plantings that are in our other rain gardens. That, you know, they're chosen on purpose for being very water thirsty and very water tolerant plants. So they help take up a lot of the water. Anyway, as far as timing goes on this, we've asked them to continue plugging away on the plans so that we could get bids out and start a project sometime after Labor Day, right after Labor Day. So there'd be no change down there during the camping season. Okay, but in order to get that so we can have a contractor on board, we'd still be looking at letting bids here in the next few months. Questions?
Moving forward.
Mara? We have a couple other things, Mayor. On the lagoon project, we received our FONSI today, so we have received that environmental clearance. So we are, we're good to go on that. There is a 30-day comment period, and that will expire then on April 18th. We will have let bids by that time, but there's no impact on that, because the contractor's wanting to know mainly that we've received this thing, and that there's not gonna be any additional hold up from their time frame that they'd have to wait in order to begin the project. So, no, we've received that, and everything looks pretty good now.
So we're looking at April 11th.
We bid on April 11th. The plans are out and circulated. I did get the formal cost estimate from B&K today. Their estimate's still at $4.5 million. When we were meeting with Murr on the campground situation, we also discussed some stuff on that 7th Street drainage issue we talked about last time.
Mm-hmm.
And they are working with the contractor to see what the contractor would do for us. I'm not sure that it's the contractor's fault, you know, or their responsibility, but Murr has said that either between the contractor or from Murr, they would get this taken care of, and it wouldn't be a city issue. Their most likely fix to the situation is to grind off the curbs west of those intakes. That seems to be the portion that's limiting flow coming off of that area, especially by Bill Riley's. So they'd grind off that curb on that side, but then also on we'd have them do that north side there too, where folks kept hitting that curb.
So has Bill Riley have you visited with Bill about this?
Yes, I've seen him several times, and you know, and he was on board about this idea of getting rid of that curb. Thought that would help. He's talked about having an additional intake there too, which does not so far seem to be talked about as a preferred option. But they grind this curb off, and with some other grading of the area, they feel they can get that addressed.
You mean grading to the south? Is that what you?
Grading to the north. You know, so that everything will flow from that area to the north.
But along those houses there, you know, there's I was wondering if they should, so the water don't go shooting across
we had that discussion about that little retaining berm through
Yeah.
there. And Bill Riley would very much like to see something done with
Well,
that.
We'll get something done.
yeah.
And it's just,
You
you
can't
know,
cut any more through there, because there's a water main goes through there.
Okay,
We pretty much cut it low and they put that ball field in
yeah.
there.
We just have to build up the berm.
I think cutting that curb and building that berm will take care of the
Right.
problem.
That's what it looks to me like, that berm needs to be
Yeah.
up the road.
a couple other issues for us is positive. The splash pad contractor is very likely coming back on April 3rd. It come back on April 3rd and finish the project. And when they were here last fall, they said they'd have about 5 days worth of work. And so but they also said they need to come get the concrete poured, and the concrete cures for quite a while before they can come paint it. So it'll be all poured and the project basically finished, but they'll come back to paint the lake design on it. We had an issue on 6th Street. This had happened, I believe, last year, where as we were trimming a tree or removing a tree, we dropped a limb and cracked a driveway at Melissa Scholl's. But it's just a corner of the driveway. And we had a cost estimate to replace that was pretty high. Bill had talked about just cutting out that portion of the driveway and replacing it, so we would get that taken care of. Just know that not a whole section of the driveway would be replaced. You know, if you hear anything from Schultz.
We'll pin it too, Scott, so it doesn't break away.
Pretty good. Another deal here is Dorothy Lanfear had called today, and she called asking questions about that site plan ordinance and where the council was on that, about implementing those low impact development standards. Okay, she would very much like the council to proceed and continue to implement those low impact development standards. Talked with her, you know, about why it's not on the agenda for tonight, and there's some additional information gathering going on. But then also exploring the impact on developers and what the additional cost is. So she would still very much like for the council to keep plugging away at that. But we talked about the notion of putting a drain tile, basically putting a storm sewer down that ditch all the way to the outlet. And I would tell you, she's not too keen on that idea, just feeling that it just rushes water away from that, and that it would have some negative impact onto the waters in the outlet. That she has strong preference to try to do some low impact development standards.
Moving on.
Okay, that's it.
The bike arch is finished.
Good.
We just gotta haul it back, and Corey Weber's gonna build the forms. We're gonna put 3 foot of cement around top of the old foundations. Corey hasn't got there yet, but he promised me he would this year. Anyway, it's painted. Bill's gonna bring it back in a couple days. We'll have it back in town, so. And we're working on the lighting yet. Trying to make the lights turn on the wheels.
We are,
Yes, we are.
we have some, a couple different proposals on lighting that. And so we would have some LED lights along the arch, and there's a bottom bar and a top bar on the arch. So we would propose to have LED lights along the bottom bar, all the way through the arch, and then also along the top bar, all the way through the arch. And then we'd also have some LED lights that go around the wheels of the bikes. And so we can make it so that the wheels of the bikes turn. And you can make it so that all the lights turn, but in order so that you could have the lights on the arch stay stationary and the lights on the wheels turn, it was
$300.
$300 more,
Yeah.
something like that.
And there'll be a light inside the box where it says Sauk Rail Trail.
I like that, it look nice. I
Look
like
nice, yeah. Gives people a reason to come to town and take a picture. Northwest Iowa League, anybody wanna ride along to Esterville Thursday night?
Esterville.
We're gonna leave the next, the day before. Motion to adjourn,
So moved.
second,
Second.
meeting adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
All right, Vic.
It takes an hour and 45 to get there.
It did.
So can you see anybody here at the table?
I can see you when you're leaning forward and I can see John's head. Otherwise, I pretty much just see the audience.
All right.
But they're not very clear, so I don't always know who's out there.
Oh, I see.
So do we need to decide on
See you,
this?
Becky.
See you, man.
Yeah. Thanks, see everybody, take care.
Yeah, have fun.
Just go push in for a little.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Good.
see ya.
You bet.
Dave, for that.
Thank you.
Okay, yep.
People.
I'll make sure Brian gets it.
See ya.
Where's this happening?
What do I
How'd it go? How'd it go for Midwest Industries?
Yeah.
I've heard about that garage.